Thank you. It was April 17th, 2015, the day my life changed forever. I was about to go to sleep in my apartment in Grahamstown, South Africa. It was Friday night, 10:15. My phone was on silent, but I could hear the vibration on my bedside table. There were 3 calls in quick succession, and I thought I'd better answer it, and just as well I did. It was a friend of mine who had hired a private investigator to assist me, as my phone had been tapped and my emails had been hacked. I could hear the panic in his voice. He said, "Graeme, get out of your apartment, go to a place of safety, do not go to a public place. They're coming to get you. Call me if you need any help." My heart started to pound like a jackhammer in my chest. I packed an overnight bag quickly and basically took off, drove 45 minutes into pouring rain to a friend's house. I parked my vehicle at a remote hotel location, and to make sure that they couldn't trace me, I took the SIM card and battery out of my cell phone. I thought I was in a movie. After a sleepless night, I went back to my apartment in Grahamstown. I got a friend with a gun to come and stand by the door while I grabbed my passport and my suitcase. I didn't know where I was going. I took off for Johannesburg and spent another 4 sleepless nights in Johannesburg undercover with armed protection. I soon realized I could no longer live like a criminal in my own country. On the 22nd of April, I arrived in Cincinnati to the welcoming arms of my brother-in-law and sister. Just a real poignant reminder of how important family is. All I had with me was my passport and this suitcase, which I thought had my worldly possessions. I had 3 pairs of jeans, 5 t-shirts, and a pair of flip-flops. Just as well it was summer here in Cincinnati. So you're probably thinking now, what's all this cloak and dagger stuff, the drama, personal threats to this guy's safety? What is he on about? Well, it takes me back to when I was a kid. And my late father, who was a true gentleman, instilled in us as kids the sense of fairness, integrity, and more importantly, that every person in life deserves a fair shot. And this was in apartheid South Africa, in a country where 80% of the people were not getting a fair shot. I was crazy about sport as a kid. I ended up playing cricket, soccer, and squash for my university. It was just the most incredible experience being able to play so much different sport. I then became a sports journalist, spent 7 remarkable years at CNN International as a sports anchor from 1992 to 1999. CNN had basically set me up for life. After CNN, I decided to go back to my home country, South Africa, to give back to a country that really needed social responsibility, and also to share my new wealth of expertise as a sports journalist. I continued to broadcast in radio and television. I was just going to go back to see that CNN picture, because I think I looked very different in those days. I think I was young. Oh, there we go. Young, athletic, lots of hair, good looking. Okay, maybe not good looking. But coming back to South Africa, I was able to work again in media, to contribute back to the country, and to start a project that was so close to my heart, probably a project that gave me more satisfaction than anything else, called Township TV. We erected these big screen TVs in townships in less fortunate areas where electricity and running water is a novelty. We had changed the lives of so many people. We gave them free entertainment 365 days of the year. We uplifted the communities. We put smiles on kids' faces. We got the kids off the street. We were doing so much for these different communities. But 3 years ago, my career path took a very different turn to that of an investigative sports journalist in a country where investigative sports journalism has very little culture. I was going to be on a lone crusade, a guy with a pen taking an army of corrupt people, administrators in South African sport. I started to get emails from athletes and coaches showing me the plight of South African sport, how corrupt it was, how much maladministration there was. There were days I would have tears pouring down my face. I could not believe that some of South Africa's top athletes, sportsmen and sportswomen, could be treated so badly by some of the top officials in the country. I had to expose what was going on. I could no longer sit on the information. It was my obligation as a sports journalist to expose all these poor elements in South African sport. The officials weren't going to like it, but I had an obligation. As I started to expose it, it got deeper and deeper. At a national government level, millions of dollars were being stolen from the national lottery, funding that needed to go to the athletes for them to perform and for coaches. But instead, the millions of dollars was going into the back pockets of corrupt officials who were lining their own back pockets to fund their own lavish lifestyles. I could not be silent. I had to expose what was going on. The National Olympic Committee of South Africa slapped me personally with a $2 million defamation suit to try and bully me and silence me. It didn't stop me. The sports ministry basically abused me and threatened me on social media via Twitter. It didn't stop me. And then came up this anonymous blog, a defamatory anonymous blog, trying to discredit me and defame me. Looks very different to my picture from CNN days. But you know what? It hurt, but they weren't going to stop me. Yes, it's a lone crusade. It's a very lonely journey as a sports journalist trying to fight this big battle. But I take inspiration and courage from fellow journalists who have been down the same road. If I think about David Walsh, who took 10 years to expose the real Lance Armstrong, and more recently Andrew Jennings, who's finally been vindicated after 7 years for his exposés on the whole soccer and FIFA scandal. I may be 8,046.1 miles from my home country, but I will continue to fight for the South African sportsmen and sportswomen who are silenced by draconian codes of conduct. They need my voice to be able to continue to perform at the very top level. But I cannot do it without the great support that I've had from my family. And my sister and brother-in-law that are here tonight, I have no words of gratitude to thank you for what you have given me an opportunity to start a new life, hopefully in the United States of America. Maybe not easy to start again at 46. Maybe Ted Turner worked me too hard. I look a lot older. But when I look back and I think about when I arrived in Cincinnati almost 3 months ago, with this suitcase, what I thought was my worldly possessions, 3 pairs of jeans, 5 t-shirts, and 2 pairs of slops. In fact, I didn't need this suitcase because what my father had instilled in me as a kid about integrity and the sense of fairness was all I really needed. Because in life, everybody deserves a fair shot.